Who among us hasn't wanted to feel that old school kind of classy that comes with sipping on a gin Rickey? Keep watching for even more retro cocktails that are overdue for a revival. This rosy-hued drink is not the cocktail that made Milwaukee famous, but it was invented in this beer-drinking, blue-collar town. Bryant's, Brew City's oldest cocktail bar, is still serving up one-of-a-kind cocktails in a dimly lit lounge on the south side. While the restaurant's bartenders boast a repertoire of over 450 drinks, they do offer a small selection of drinks you can order by name, including their signature Pink Squirrel. This sweet libation was popular with the ladies back in the 50s, and while it was an admittedly different time as far as social standards were concerned, we can at least appreciate their drinks.
I don't know anything about the gold standard, I'm afraid, but I do love little kittens. They're so soft and furry.
The traditional recipe calls for ice cream, as does Bryant's version, and there's a fascinating history here. Ice cream drinks, the predecessor to adult milkshakes, have long been a part of the state's supper club culture, although some versions call for the Pink Squirrel to be made with cream instead. To make a Pink Squirrel, blend 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream with 1 ounce of white creme de cacao and 1 ounce of creme de noyo, an almond-flavored liqueur that gives the drink that distinctive, pretty color. Pour into a glass and garnish with whipped cream and a cherry, and perhaps a little pink paper parasol. The Brandy Alexander has somewhat mysterious origins. Various sources provide several different backstories, claiming the Alexander was named after either a Russian czar, a British princess, or an American theater critic, although the most likely explanation is that it was named for the turn-of-the-last-century bartender who came up with this concoction. If you have creme de cacao left over from making those pink squirrels, you can always use it to blend up a batch of Brandy Alexanders too. This is another dessert-type drink that can be made with either cream or ice cream, although it's a tad stronger than the Pink Squirrel, as it features brandy, rather than getting its entire booze content from lower alcohol liqueurs. That wasn't always the case though, and it was originally made with gin. Then it was called the Alexander No. 2. To make a Brandy Alexander, mix 1.5 ounces of cognac, 1 ounce of cream, and 1 ounce of creme de cacao. Either dark or white will do, because the brandy already lends the drink a brown hue. Shake over ice, strain, and garnish with a sprinkle of grated nutmeg. Here's the fun fact. This drink also has its own literary cameo. Anthony Blanche orders this drink for a reluctant Charles Ryder in Brideshead Revisited. As Blanche said as he drank both his and Charles's cocktails,
down the little red lane they go.
Had enough creamy drink recipes? Then you may want to try this drink, named after a 19th century man who preferred his cocktails sugar-free, as there was no such thing as Diet Coke at the time, and it was Democratic lobbyist Joe Rickey who lobbied the bartender at his favorite DC watering hole to build him a drink made with nothing more than bourbon, soda water, and lime. In time, the idea caught on, and people began ordering Rickeys made with all different types of liquor. The gin version, besides being the most popular, is also a footnote in literary history. It was a favorite of the novelist F. Scott Fitzgerald and was also enjoyed by his most famous character, Jay the Great Gatsby. Want to add this easy-to-make drink to your own home drink menu? Make it by mixing 2 ounces of gin with 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice and then topping up your glass with soda water. The first published recipe for the Sidecar appears in 1919 in a book called Harry's ABC of Mixing Cocktails, authored by Harry McElhone. He was the Harry from Harry's New York Bar in Paris, a drinking spot that was favored by F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway. That's not the bar's only claim to fame, as they are also known for inventing a few other classic drinks too, including the Bloody Mary and the French 75. The Sidecar is said to get its name from a motorcycle attachment used as troop and weapons transport during World War I, and it is possible that the drink was first created as part of an Armistice Day celebration. Harry's original version called for equal parts of the drink's 3 ingredients: cognac, the orange liqueur Cointreau, and fresh lemon juice. That version is now known as French School, but there's also now an English school calling for 2 parts of cognac to 1 part of each of the remaining ingredients. Yet another World War I era drink is the previously mentioned French 75. Said to be another Harry McElhone creation, the French 75 was christened for its effect. McElhone compared drinking one of these to being hit by a French 75mm artillery shell. Unsurprisingly then, the drink dates back to World War I. The US World War I Centennial Commission does confirm the surprising fact that the French National Assembly voted to send champagne to the troops and to military hospitals on a regular basis to serve as a morale booster. Champagne is one of the French 75's main ingredients, as are gin, sugar, and lemon juice. A recipe published in the 1930 Savoy cocktail book calls for 2 parts of gin to 1 of lemon juice, a spoonful of powdered sugar, and champagne to fill a tall glass. Arnaud's French 75 bar in New Orleans, however, makes the drink from which they took their name with cognac rather than gin. It's a fitting choice, as cognac is more of a French thing than the Brits' favorite spirit, gin. Their recipe calls for 1 1/4 ounces of cognac, a 1/4 ounce simple syrup, and a 1/4 ounce fresh lemon juice, shaken over ice and strained into a champagne flute. Top the glass off with champagne, garnish with a twist of lemon peel, and ooh la la. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about your favorite cocktails are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.